Hello everyone. So welcome back again. Now, where I stopped exactly, that is different types of manufacturing processes in general. Okay, so this is the where I have stopped in the last class or last hour. Now, these are the various processes, right? Now, we'll see how to select a particular process. Suppose you have different manufacturing processes. As I said, the previous slide, you have welding, you have turning, you have something like additive manufacturing, farming, etc. How to select those manufacturing processes depends upon these things. What sort of a material you are going to machine? Suppose if it's like a metal, like a mild steel, or it's like a alloy, like a copper, or it's like a material like aluminum, etc., etc. So we have to see the material, and depends upon that I have select the manufacturing process. Then I have to see what sort of a geometry I'm going to machine. That is, how it's whether it's a cylindrical object, it's a square object, etc. Those things I have to take care of. So that depends upon that I can select the manufacturing process. Now, how many number of parts? So it's like a one I would call as uh, production will be taking place. Like a ship, if you take a shipbuilding, it will take like months, and you have the production of, or you can build a ship. Okay, it may take months. That's different, and the cars manufacturing and all, it's different. So it depends upon whether it's a mass production or batch production. So depends upon that also I have to choose the manufacturing process, and what and all tools I have to use. Okay, so whether I have to go for high speed steel tool, or I have to go for a carbide tips, tool tips, etc. I have to think about the tools for the particular manufacturing processes, and also I have to take care of the material cost. Okay, so I have to see that the material what I am using, that cost also I have to keep in mind. And what and all exactly I need required levels of automation. Suppose I want to make a wheel of a vehicle, then what sort of things I have to have? I must need a CNC lathe, I must need a robotic arm. All these things are the required levels of automation. Okay, now hope you understood what is manufacturing process, what are different types of manufacturing process, and how I can select a particular manufacturing process. Now, next slide. Now, I'll just play one video. Just see you can able to understand the different processes here. Now, go through the video. Definitely, you will have an idea what are the different manufacturing process, what I am mentioning. Okay, so just go through the video. Yeah.
Do you ever wonder how amorphous lumps of material are turned into the everyday products which surround us? Let's find out. In this video, we're going to talk about manufacturing processes. There are 6 main categories of manufacturing processes, which are forming, casting, molding, joining, machining, and additive manufacturing. Each one of these categories contains a large number of different manufacturing techniques. There are a lot of different factors which need to be considered when selecting the right manufacturing process. This includes the material you are working with, the geometry, products which surround us. Let's find out. In this video, we're going to talk about manufacturing process. Do you ever wonder how amorphous lumps of material are turned into the everyday products which surround us? Let's find out. In this video, we're going to talk about manufacturing processes. There are 6 main categories of manufacturing processes, which are forming, casting, molding, joining, machining, and additive manufacturing. Each one of these categories contains a large number of different manufacturing techniques. There are a lot of different factors which need to be considered when selecting the right manufacturing process. This includes the material you are working with, the geometry of the object, the number of parts you are producing, tool and material costs, and required levels of automation, to name just a few. Let's look through each of the 6 categories in detail. Forming involves applying forces or pressure and plastically deforming the material to produce the desired shape. It is typically used for metals. Most forming processes can be done when the metal is either above or below its recrystallization temperature. This is known as hot or cold working. Hot working makes it easier to plastically deform the metal. But cold working causes strain hardening, which increases the strength of the material. 3 common forming processes are forging, rolling, and extrusion. Modern forging is done using machines. Enclosed die, or impression forging. The metal is placed between top and bottom closed dies. Repeated strokes from the hammer are used to cause the metal to flow into the shape of the dies. Objects produced using forging can have improved mechanical properties compared to objects which are cast. But it can be difficult to achieve tight tolerances using forging, and the required equipment can be expensive. Extrusion is a continuous process which involves placing hot metal in a chamber and using a ram to force it through a die, producing a long object with a constant cross-section. Extrusion provides an excellent surface finish and can achieve very tight tolerances, but it is only suitable for producing 2-dimensional shapes. Rolling is probably the most commonly used forming process. It involves passing metal between 2 or more rollers, which apply pressure and reduce thickness. More complex products like I-beams can also be manufactured by rolling. Rolling can result in improved mechanical properties and can be automated, which makes it good for large-scale production. But tooling costs tend to be high, and it can't be used to produce very complex shapes. Let's move on to the next category of manufacturing processes, casting.
Now this already you are aware of what is the casting process. So casting already might have studied in your earlier classes. So this particular slide or the video gives you. If it's not clear also, no problem. I'll be giving you the link. Just open that and you can see the process.
It is what we call a primary shaping process. A secondary process, such as machining, is typically needed to achieve the desired surface finish. Like forming, casting is most commonly used for metals. 3 common types of casting are die casting, sand casting, and investment casting. In die casting, molten metal is forced into reusable metal dies at high pressure. Once the molten metal has solidified, it is removed from the mold.
So that is a finished product.
Die casting is mostly used for non-ferrous metals like aluminum and zinc, which have low melting temperatures. It provides an excellent surface finish and can achieve very tight tolerances. But startup costs tend to be high, so it is only really suitable for large production runs.
So it's about die casting.
In sand casting, a pattern is used to create a single-use mold from damp sand.
So this already what we experienced in the foundry.
The
Uh-huh.
sand is typically contained in two mold boxes called the cope and the drag. Molten metal is poured into the mold through a channel formed in the sand.
Runner riser.
When the metal has solidified, the cast object can be removed from the sand.
That's the basic part I need to produce.
Sand casting can be used for a wide range of metals, including those with high melting temperatures. It can produce large and complex parts, and initial costs are very low, making it good for small production runs. However, it provides a poor surface finish and is not as accurate as other casting processes. The last casting process we will look at is investment casting. Several wax patterns of the same object are created and attached to a sprue.
Like impeller
The
of
wax
a
tree is
centrifugal
dipped
pump,
into a slurry
mostly
to
made
create
by
a
a
ceramic
investment
mold.
casting process. Impellers, etc. That's how your investment casting is carrying out.
Heat is applied to melt out the wax.
That's a wax.
Molten metal is then poured into the ceramic mold. And once the casting has cooled, the mold is broken off.
Yeah, that's all. So that's the basic impeller.
Investment casting is good for parts with complex geometry and can achieve tight tolerances, but it is an expensive and time-consuming process. Molding is very similar to casting. It involves shaping a liquid or pliable material using a mold. Most of the time, molding is used for forming plastics. Typical molding processes are injection molding, compression molding, and blow molding. Let's look at the first two. Injection molding is the most commonly used manufacturing method for plastics.
Most of the times plastics will be actually,
Polymer granules are fed into the hopper and a screw
you
is
are
used
getting
to
the
pass
final
material
products as
through
a
a heated
plastics from
cylinder
this.
before it is forced at pressure into the mold.
Yeah, that's the basic part what I need made up of a thermoplastic. That's the plastic.
Injection molding is mostly used for thermoplastics,
Yeah.
which are polymers which soften when they are heated and harden when they are cooled. It is a very fast process and can be fully automated, meaning labor costs are low, but startup costs are very high due to the expensive molds, so it is really only cost effective for large production runs.
Log production can be used because it's have high investment cost.
Compression molding involves placing a precise amount of material into a mold. The mold is closed and pressure and temperature are applied.
So that's what I require, the plate-like thing. So that's a finished product, what you got from the compressed molding.
Compression molding is mostly used for thermosets, which are polymers which irreversibly harden when heated.
Yeah.
Tooling costs are relatively cheap,
Most of
making
the
it
times,
good for small production
polymers
runs,
will be
but
used.
it is quite a slow process and is not well suited for complex designs. So far, we have only looked at material deformation processes. Machining is a material removal
Now
process
it comes to
where a
machining.
tool is used to remove material from a larger object.
Yeah. So you
It
have
is often used for secondary shaping, when the part has already been formed using a primary process like casting.
after the primary process like
Machining can be
casting,
used for a
machining
wide
can be
range of
done.
materials, including metals, plastics, and wood.
So
Examples of machining include drilling, turning, and reaming.
reaming is the process of increase the diameter of the hole.
Drilling is the cutting of a normal circular hole by pressing a rotating drill bit through a solid object.
That's the metal chips which is coming out of drilling process. Okay, so it produces hole.
And turning is the use of a cutting tool to shape a rotating workpiece.
Yeah, that's a cutting tool. So used for producing threads in your lathe.
Let's move on to the next category, joining. involves combining multiple separate components
Obviously,
into a
welding
larger
process
assembly.
is called as
Like
the joining
machining,
process.
joining is a secondary process.
All these things are your different manufacturing
Welding,
processes.
riveting, brazing, soldering, and fastening are all different types of joining processes. Welding uses extremely high heat to fuse distinct metal parts together. Unlike
So
soldering
already
and brazing,
everybody might have
the base
experienced in
metal
your
melts during
basic
welding.
workshop practice, the welding
The final
practice.
category is additive manufacturing,
Yeah,
which
this is
involves
the
adding material to
yeah.
build up the desired object.
So this is basically your new modern manufacturing process, which involves adding material to the build up an object, typically layer by layer at a time. Okay, so just go through this and we'll be discussing in detail in the coming classes.
Typically one layer at a time. 3D printing,
Yeah.
selective laser sintering, and vat polymerization
So
are
all these
examples of
things are
additive
examples
manufacturing
for
techniques.
additive manufacturing. And popular one is your 3D printing.
Or 3D
Nowadays,
printing, a computer is used to successfully build up an object layer by layer.
like that.
3D printing is a slow process, and the range of materials which can be used is limited. As a result, it tends to be used for prototyping rather than for mass production.
Most of the times you will be using for a model or a prototype. A prototype it will be used. So you have some filament like thing here. A step-by-step process. You are going to produce the required product. So nowadays you can see it's a very popular one. That's a 3D printing. So I'll discuss it 3D printing in detail in the classes, future classes.
That's it for this introduction to manufacturing processes.
Okay, so that's about your introduction to the that's a different video about your processes. Now, I hope you enjoyed the video, so which actually tells you the different processes. Now, we'll come to the topic here. That's what are the major characteristics of conventional machining? So I said I'll be comparing the conventional machining process and unconventional or unconventional or non-traditional machining process. This particular lecture. Now, see what are the major characteristics of a conventional machining process. Generally, the chips which are formed off because of the shear deformation, and the material removal takes place due to application of cutting force. And you know that if I have to point the tool to remove the material from the workpiece. Now, cutting tool is harder than workpiece at room temperature as well as under machining conditions. Obviously, whatever may be the temperature, the cutting tool must be harder compared to the workpiece. Otherwise, the cutting won't happen. Next. Now, what are the basic demerits or disadvantages of conventional machining process? In conventional machining process, metal is removed by chip formation, which is an expensive and difficult process. So in a conventional machining process, if you want to shape the metal, or you have to remove the metal from the workpiece or metal from the workpiece, so I have to remove the material in the form of a chips only. Then only I'll be getting the required shape. So obviously the process is expensive, because even if you go for normal lathe or computer numerical control lathe, whatever maybe, it will be a little bit expensive and difficult process. And you can see once you machine a particular workpiece, lot of chips formation. Might have studied about those chip formation, like chips with built-up edge. Okay, so so these are the unwanted byproducts. Okay, just imagine industry which is producing a huge quantity of products. You can see how much waste chip material in the form of chips is coming. Okay, that's the unwanted byproduct from the workpiece. So removal of these chips and their disposal and recycling is a very tedious procedure involving energy and money. Okay, so obviously the chips which are forming I have to recycle because those are all metal pieces only. It's a very tedious process to collect the chips and to transfer it and to recycle it, etc., which needs money as well as energy. Okay. Next. So that's about your conventional machining process. Now, when I come to the non-traditional process compared to the traditional process or conventional process, I can actually machine very hard and brittle materials, which is not at all possible by means of a traditional machining process like turning, drilling, shaping, and milling. Example, I want to drill a hole in a glass or a ceramic material. Now, if I subject the ceramic material or glass by turning or drilling, shaping, obviously I can't do it because those are the materials are extremely hard and brittle. Okay, so I have to go for some other processes. Right now, very hard, fragile materials difficult to clamp for traditional machining. So, in case of your turning and all, I have to mount it on a chuck. Drilling also, I have to hold it by means of a fixture, etc. So, any other, so I have, without any clamp also, I can machine in case of your non-traditional machining process. When the workpiece is too flexible or slender, so I assume that the workpiece is very difficult to hold, or assume that it's a very slender workpiece. That also I can easily machine using a non-traditional machine process. When the shape of the part is too complex, so some parts may be used in your car or any other automobiles. They have very complex shape which has to be machined. There is no other alternative except the non-traditional machining process. And what are the merits of modern machining process? So because of using a modern machining process, obviously it increases the productivity. Assume that the conventional machining process, per hour I can produce 10 parts. In case of your modern machining process, I can produce per hour 50 parts. Like that, the productivity is going to be increased. It reduces the number of rejected components because I'll be using either electrical discharge machining or chemical milling. All these are very modern and efficient techniques of manufacturing. So the rejected components will be obviously going to be reduced. And close tolerance is possible because you can maintain very close tolerances. There won't be a huge deviation of the parts, and interchangeability is very good. And the tool material need not be harder than workpiece material as in conventional. So obviously, the disadvantage with conventional machining is always the tool material must be sharp compared to the what are called as workpiece. Here, you don't have to worry about the hardness of the tool compared to the workpiece, which has to be machined. Now, harder and difficult to machine materials can be machined by this process. And as I said, the glass, the ceramics, a lot of applications where I have to machine. Okay, so I can easily do it by me using the modern manufacturing process or non-traditional machining processes. So the machine surface do not have any residual stress. Obviously, when you subject a particular workpiece using a lathe, milling, etc., there are a lot of residual stresses or internal stresses in the machined product. So that can be reduced using a modern manufacturing process. Now, you just see in this particular slide some of the applications, okay. Now you can see here a steel gear and rack cut with an abrasive water jet. So abrasive water jet machining is one of the non-traditional machining process, and these are the two things. And this is your gear or pinion and rack, and you can see not a round hole, it's a non-round hole. Maybe it's a tapering to the bottom, so which will be actually made beautifully by ultrasonic machining process. And you may be just you can think of the small gear parts available in your watches. Okay, so all these things are made by electrochemical milling. So this particular parts, what you are seeing here, small clutch plates, are some parts which are very difficult to machine by using a conventional machining process, can be easily done by non-traditional machining process. Okay, so you see here, and hard disks have some parts where it has to be manufactured compulsorily. See that the thickness of the material. So very less, and I can easily use a small gears, etc. So I can easily use by using a non-traditional machining process. So these are, and you see one more thing, the microscopic photograph, which actually shows you in a silicon nitride, which is a ceramic, so very hard material, silicon nitride, I can drill a hole of order of 250 microns. So that I can do it by using your non-traditional machining process. Okay. Now, just come to the end of the class now. Now we'll just see what exactly we learned for today's particular 2 hours of a lecture. Now to start with, I have gone for what is the definition of a manufacturing process, and then I have discussed about what is conventional and non-conventional or modern manufacturing processes, and what are the characteristics of conventional machining process, and what are the demerits of conventional machining process. Okay, and we have gone for a non-traditional machining process. What are the characteristics of the non-traditional machining process, and how it's superior, or what are the merits of modern machining process, and applications of your non-traditional machining process we already discussed today. I hope you enjoyed the two lectures today, and when we meet the other hours, we'll be continuing the class. Okay, thank you, and thank you for joining. Okay.